Political reporter Nia Malika Henderson and roll call Shira Toeplitz. Good to see both of you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so then this morning, Donald Trump condemns Aiken. I don't know, Nia Malika, is he going to have to cave to pressure and drop out? What's going to happen here?
Well, you know, I mean, you've seen this party bring down the full force of the establishment, pulling funding, calling him to drop out. Mitch McConnell, Senator John Cornyn did the same thing, and so far, he is digging in. It's not clear what sort of incentive he has going forward for actually dropping out, nor is it clear what else Republicans can do that they haven't already done. Of course, we've got this 5 p.m. deadline looming today. GOP leaders are certainly eyeing that, because after that it gets a little bit more complicated. You have to get a court involved, but so far he does not sound like a candidate who is going to bow to pressure from the establishment, and one wonders if going forward he can sort of embrace this whole idea that he is the anti-establishment candidate and therefore sort of rally the far right conservatives in Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the equation here, Shira, and you cover Congress, so you know polls show Claire McCaskill and Todd Aiken now tied apparently in this race for Senate, whereas he had been ahead. Give us perspective about how important this race is to the Republican establishment. How worried are they?
Well, they're very worried. Republicans have looked at Claire McCaskill's reelection as kind of a gimme, as a race they were almost sure they could win. In some ways, she was considered sort of the Rick Santorum, these candidates who were basically dead in the water from the cycle start. Her poll numbers were just that bad. Obviously, Mr. Aiken's comments have changed the nature of this race drastically and have effectively put it in play. But a word of caution about the polling we've seen so far. Sometimes it takes voters a couple days to really digest what's going on and what's happened. The poll we saw was just in and out last night, and I'd be interested to see over the coming days what more polling data shows, how voters are familiar with this and what they think of Todd Aiken, especially after he insists he's not going to drop out.
Yeah, and the impact in Missouri, and as we've been talking about, also the potential impact on the wider race, you know, on the race for president. But let me play for you an ad, and we just literally got this in. We're going to play a little clip of it that Claire McCaskill has turned around on Todd Aiken. Take a look.
Aiken compared the federal student cancer.
America has got the equivalent of the stage 3 cancer of socialism.
So that's Todd Aiken. Privatize Social Security, abolish the minimum wage, and get rid of federal student loans. Are those mainstream Missouri values?
Is an ad meant to play in Missouri, but it does provide this bigger opening at a time when
Well, you see so far efforts to so they are happy to have him around because it gives them a chance to Parenthood. They've got a 22-point lead according to our poll. And this just plays into that. You have Republican leaders down in Tampa now deciding on the language of their platform, and they're going to have language in their platform, it looks like, that bans abortion, even in the case of rape and incest. And so you're certainly going to see Democrats highlight this and really, in some ways, hope that they have Todd Aiken to kick around in this race.
Yeah, you mentioned that bill that was co-sponsored. It really was a bill that was going to redefine rape, and they talk about something called forcible rape. And I'm wondering, Shira, you know, what's the likelihood that this is going to stick? What's the likelihood this is going to hurt Paul Ryan?
I don't know if it's going to hurt Paul Ryan that much in the long term. A lot of Republican members signed on to the bill you just mentioned. I think more it'll affect the Missouri.
But only one of them is running for vice president.
That is absolutely a good point. Very true. But I think when people think of Paul Ryan, they think of his budget. It's no secret that Paul Ryan is a pro-life candidate. Todd Aiken is really inconvenient. This timing right after the Ryan pick is also very inconvenient for Republicans and headed right into the convention, right as Nia mentioned. They're discussing their platform. So the timing couldn't be worse for this. But 1 month from now, I don't know. I don't think we'll still be tying Todd Aiken to Paul Ryan based on this one bill.